Welcome back to the Visually Hidden Selects podcast, episode 56. This month's selection was The 10 Commandments from 1956. 70 years. 70 years old, this movie. Incredible. If you have not seen it, you really need to check it out. It really holds up in like a very kind of special, classic kind of way. The same, like I would say, like The Wizard of Oz, or Gone with the Wind. Like it's one of those like movies that just is forever, because I think partially because it is a historical story. It's a period piece. It's a time kind of snapshot, but also even cinematically, just the boundaries that it pushed at the time that it pushed them, and like the advancements that were made and what was built off of those advancements in technology. Like we would not have the films we have today without films like The 10 Commandments. It really is a cornerstone in cinema and a milestone in cinema. And neither one of you have seen it before we did this round, this selection for the month, right?
No.
So you're both here talking about it, so I got to imagine you both liked it, even, a little bit. So I'm really curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are. Me, I know that I was very aware of this movie for a really long time before I ever saw it, because of History of the World Part 1, when Mel Brooks comes down with the 10 commandments, because he drops one tablet. And I always knew that image of Moses with the tablets, and then of course seeing the video in the video store for years. And then as I get into film study and cinema, and of course Charlton Heston, oh my God, it's this and it's Ben-Hur. And I mean, there's a whole lot more, as I mentioned in the VHS, but really, when you go back in his filmography, the film he did before this was The Greatest Show on Earth, about the circus, and that was also directed by Cecil B. DeMille. And I remember seeing that on television as a late movie, like when I was in elementary school. I like stayed up, and I think that was what kind of like pushed me into the night owl realm, because it is also a very long, epic kind of a story. But when I finally got around to like filling in some of the blanks, I think in my early 20s in my filmography, and I saw this, and I was just like, holy cow, like, because I'm not super religious guy, but as a film, as a story, and as a film that's like presentation, I was just blown away by a number of things in this film. The acting, the writing, the directing, the cinematography, the effects, the music. It all was just like very engaging, captivating, and even at 3 hours and 40 minutes, I mean, I think this might be the longest one we've done. Seven Samurai is also up in that realm, and that's another one that kind of cooks, because the story and the characters, it just all comes together. And this one, I got to put it in that category of just like incredible epics that moves, but I'm curious what your experiences were. And I know this is one where you've actually read the book that it's based on, right?
That's the first time, we talk about something based on a book, and I read the book. So, the first time I was watching it, and epic, I think, is the word to define it. Definitely, the story, the setting, the costume, the music, everything is epic. And I remember that I saw some pictures from the film, but to be frank, I didn't recognize Charlton Heston, because I think it was the end of the film I saw. So if you don't know it's him, I mean, it's hard to recognize. But yeah, I wasn't disappointed, definitely. And I like the fact that you said that you don't define yourself as a believer, because I think you have many stories from the Bible. As I always say, okay, it means something if you're a believer, but if you're not, just think it's fictional, and it's still interesting. You have crazy stories in the Bible, so that's why it makes sense. They make it as a film. So yeah, it was really a good experience, definitely.
Like you, Pete, I'm not a super religious guy. I'm working out how I feel about all that stuff. So as someone who's been, going through film for the last 30 something years, um, I avoided it. I was like, oh, I don't know, it's probably stuffy and not fun and whatever. And okay, kind of a snooze. Even though I know Charlton Heston's the man, I'm like, I don't know. And then I saw it on the list. I was like, oh, Pete, you're killing me. I've been avoiding this. It's like two in a row I've been avoiding. It's like, come on. And I was like, ah, God, drug movies, religious movies, and political movies. I'm like, fuck, you're killing me here. So, but I watched, I was like, this movie's awesome. And then I immediately got sad because they don't make movies like this anymore.
No.
It's like, it was so epic in like the truest sense of the word epic, not like a cool slang. Like, it's just fucking epic. This is big. And I was like, man, look at the manpower that went into this thing is just
Mhm.
insane to me. And one of the first thoughts I had, and you said it in the video, was like, fuck, this is like Lord of the Rings, but like
Yeah.
no one's painted in or CGI'd
Yeah.
or, no, whatever method they use for whatever specific shot. But these are real people with all the costuming that had to be done and just the makeup and I mean, wow, I was blown away by how massive this movie was. I don't know if I'm more surprised that it got made back then because of how big it was or not, or I don't know. But yeah, I was like, wow, this is really good. And then I feel like this story is really intriguing because I didn't know any of this stuff. Um, and about the burning bush and all, you hear about that in Sunday school and stuff like that. But like all the stuff about him, you know,
Yeah.
um, being raised as an Egyptian, I didn't know any of that stuff. So I was like, oh, cool surprise. But I went from avoiding this movie to saying, yeah, maybe I want to own this one. So it was like that was a pleasant surprise for me. I really wasn't expecting to enjoy it that much. I mean, I know like with
Home run.
I knew with the cast, like, yeah, these guys are good.
Oh yeah.
I've seen them in other things, and like, okay, you can't miss. I had no idea Vincent Price was in it, so that was a super surprise. And I love Vincent Price, so I was like, man, this is cool.
Mhm.
But I really enjoyed the film way more than I ever thought I would. I'm glad I watched it. I probably will buy it at some point in time. Um, yeah, I just had a really good experience with it. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
I'm so glad that I watched it. It lived up to the hype that I've heard about it, which you know how I feel about that. Which is like, oh, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like Ten Commandments is it's a massive motion picture. Like, calm down. But I was like, no, this is like they're right. This is one time where I agree with the hype. They were right. So
It really delivers in so many different ways. I think I already said that, but I don't think that can be said enough because yeah, you're kind of not expecting it. You're expecting like this like stuffy
mhm.
religious kind of like, drawn out 3 hours and 40 minutes. Really? Really?
Mm.
Nothing has to be that long. But no, and it moves like the story just keeps going, and every time there's something happens, it's like it unfolds so nicely, so naturally. The one thing that I really really love about this movie is it is kind of a it's kind of a hybrid movie because a lot of the shots are played out in masters. I don't know if you
Mhm.
guys noticed it while you were watching, but there isn't a whole lot of like coverage in some of the scenes.
No.
They play out almost like theater, like a play, and everybody's giving these grand performances, but they're at the same time, it's a movie. They got the lights, they got the camera, they got the setting, they got the special effects, they got all this stuff, but they're giving these like stage worthy performances and readings. So that's one thing that I think also kind of like sets it apart is like it is not like a lot of other films. In that regard, I remember when I was rewatching it recently, the scene when Moses first goes to his actual mother, Yoshabel,
Mhm.
the camera just sits on them. Like he's standing, she's sitting, and they're just having their conversation. And it goes on for a while. And then there's like maybe one cut to her.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to the master. And there's a number of scenes that just play out in the wide shot in the master. And it's like, wow. So not only is the frame beautifully composed, and everything is like well lit, and like the composition and the garments, the costumes, but then everybody is giving such an engaging performance and reading that you don't notice that there are no cuts, because everything is just happening so flawlessly, so smoothly, so naturally that you're just pulled in and you're just sitting in that room with them watching it happen.
Yeah. Well, I think part of that is attributed to the fact that you're pulled into the story. You're invested. You want to see what's going to happen here. And yeah, you don't notice it. And maybe I come from a strong theater background, so it's like, yeah, watching a play. So it doesn't even phase me that we're not getting like 32 cuts, cutaways or in the edit or anything like that. But yeah, I think I'll say this, it could have been very convoluted. And I think that the way the movie is laid out and the way that it's written and the way that it's shot is very smart and very direct and very efficient. Because again, like we say, at 3 hours and 40 minutes, you could lose people, if the movie's not constructed in an engaging way. And I think this one, it was no fat on the bone. It got right to the point. It got you hooked into the story and it kept it moving. And that's probably one of the best compliments that I could give the movie, among many.
Yeah, and not just the time. You can lose your audience with the time, but also with the number of characters. I was really impressed when I listened to you, Peter, in the video. You said that there were like more than 70 or 50
Yeah,
speaking.
70 speaking parts.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm not sure I'm gonna remember all of them. And actually, except some women, sometimes I was a bit confused at the beginning that, oh, it's the adoptive mother or the real one? No, okay, adoptive mother. But
Yeah.
yeah, but except that, they all have such a trait, such a character that you understand who is who, even if you didn't get the name. You
Hmm.
you get the face, and it was pretty impressive.
I tell you, I am a sucker for those old timey studio sets. Like, I know it's a set. I don't give a shit. I'm a sucker for them. I love them. I think they're so cool, and I miss seeing those things. I mean, yeah, listen, don't get me wrong. It's always great to see something shot on an actual location and all that other stuff. And yes, there's some great work, um, technologically being done with some of the Marvel movies and DC and those big scale movies and all that stuff. But there's something just so, I mean, again, maybe because I come from theater, there's something so cool about seeing these very intricate sets. Like, I just got super excited in the beginning of the film when baby Moses is in the basket. When I see water on an old timey set like that, got me sold. I love it. I don't know what it is. I just think it's so cool. I'm like, I know it's not real, but it looks awesome. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is about it. There's a charm to it that I'm like, man, this is just so fucking cool. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And
Well, I love how well they integrated everything, because they did do some location filming. They did go to Egypt. They did go to Mount Sinai, and they shot stuff. They shot background plates for special effects, but then they shot scenes there as well. And to just have like it all worked out where, okay, this angle is going to be done months later on the soundstage. But while we're here, let's get the reverse of him walking into the desert for real.
yeah,
Like just, and the way they put it all together with the editing. There's the scene where Yoshibel is getting, going to get run over by the stone. She's greasing for the stone and she gets caught under there, and that's on a soundstage. But then she tells Lily to like go get Moses, go beg him for mercy. And she runs through like this crowd of people, and that's in Egypt. And then she runs up the stairs to Moses, and he's on a soundstage. It's
yeah.
like, wow,
Keeping that
like
straight in your head.
Yeah.
How about
It's just
let's see that shop
but
list.
yeah, and that's the grandness of not only the film as a result, okay, audience going to watch a movie, but then like the behind the scenes grandness
Yeah.
of making this film is amazing, and if you see a lot of films, you can recognize those touches, and I think just have a greater, even greater appreciation for what you're experiencing. It's like, oh man, they really like went the extra mile on this one. So like I like that even more, that they thought enough of me, the audience, to do that as well as they did.
But you touch upon the special effects, and that's what amazed me the most in this film. Definitely, for I guess it was kind of revolutionary in the 50s to have those kind of special effects, and especially for a biblical film, I think it makes the miracles more visual. It's not really always understandable when you read the Bible, but having something visual, it really helps to get the thing. And it's crazy when you think about nowadays movies, the lack of creativity they have. Sometimes they spend money in digital stuff, but when you see what they've done, like especially when they parting the sea,
Yeah.
I was really amazed. I was like, oh my God, it was made in the 50s. When you think about it, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, yes, the parting of the Red Sea is a standout moment
Yeah.
of this film. I mentioned that in the VHS. Like that's what this is like kind of known for. And then when you see it, it's like, holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
what year was that?
Hmm.
You know. But even the little effects, like when they turn the water into blood, right? When Moses is like in the second half of the movie, when he comes back and he's throwing down for his people against Pharaoh, and Pharaoh, he's like, it's just a magic trick, I'm going to re-bless the water, and he's pouring it and the water is clear, and then it's not. It's
Hmm.
like it's just a simple little thing, but it's rigged and executed so well that it's like, oh man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And again, like you have, like when you do theater, you have to have sometimes special effects, and you have to have things timed right, and they have to go off without a hitch, and it's like it's just those little things that are employed that really like sell it along with the performance. And I think, I mean, yes, Charlton Heston, he's the star, but Yul Brynner, he's the one, he's the one in this movie.
Worthy
I mean,
adversary.
he really is, and his performance. I love when at the beginning he's tasked with finding this. Is he a man or is he a myth? If he's a myth, bring him in a bottle. If he's a man, bring him in chains.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And he's meeting with Edward G. Robinson, Dathan, and he's just kind of like hanging out on his chariot, like cool as a cucumber. Like bring him to me. Like he's so fantastic, and his deliveries are flawless. You know,
Yeah.
like even like as great as much as I love Charlton Heston, he could lay it on a little thick from time to time, especially as he gets, to be older Moses. But
Yeah.
Yul Brynner, my favorite line is his last line when he says, "His God is God."
Hmm.
It's like, holy shit! Like the revelation that Ramses had to have had
Yeah.
to like utter that sentence, like how beat was his ass to have to say those words,
Yeah.
with the blind arrogance he has in the beginning, to like that like crushed, destroyed, lonely man at the end, like as an adversary. I won't even necessarily, I mean, yes, he's an antagonist, but he's also like bred into it. It's not like he woke up with these ideas. Like they were like in his bloodline. Like that was his destiny. That was his world,
Yeah.
And so to have that taken from him, like what a journey for him as well.
Yeah. I mean, when she comes down the stairs with his son dead, I'm like, oh, no way. Yeah, it's like Moses just walking out like a straight badass gunslinger. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it was good. It's so good.
And and she's, saying like, "How can you do this to me? Not my son." It's like, "It's not me." You know?
It's not
You
me
brought this
doing it.
shit on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just said it again. I'm just thinking, running the scenes back in my head, and even though I know they're sets, that tangible quality that stuff is really there. Even though it's like plywood and whatever, but when the creeping death comes in and comes up the platform, it's like, what the fuck? It looks so cool because now you see behind the scenes for anything now. It's like green screen, green screen, green screen, blue screen. It's like,
Mm.
okay, they're acting against nothing. But these people they're in there, they're on these platforms and these pedestals and these stairways and whatever. And you see that smoke coming up. It's just such a cool, it's because it's real, it's real. I love practical effects. And this is a great example of why I love practical effects, because it just seems so lived in, and it's happening
Mm.
right there and then. And you can see it touching them, and it doesn't look fake. It's like, because it's real smoke. It's like, man, you can't put a price tag on that stuff. I mean, I guess you could if you're worried about the budget on the film, but I mean,
I think it cost about $13 million.
but I mean, but we're talking about it, right? 70 years later,
Yeah.
where I'm sure there's
Yeah.
effects with some kind of fake smoke out there someplace that no one's talking about anymore. Um, Something to think about. But I just there's a lot of imagery in this that was striking. Not just him coming down with the tablets at the end, because that's you've seen that in the highlight reels over the years, and whatever. But some of that red lighting above the mountain, when he's like, we can't go up
Mhm.
there. That's not for us. It's like that color is so badass. Kind of reminded me of a Fantasia. You know,
Mm.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that looks so cool. And some of the lightning effects, yeah, and some of the stuff it's definitely dated, but overall, I think the majority of it really still works. Very cool.
Yeah, some fires they look dated. I agree with you, but I was really impressed also with the writing on the tablets when it writes. It really looks cool, you know.
Let's talk about Vincent Price for a second. I mean, here's a guy I've seen do a bunch of stuff. Right. I mean, I haven't seen everything he's done because he's like in hundreds of movies. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get through his entire catalog. But I've seen some of the bigger ones, and man, like you said in the video, anytime he's like Catherine O'Hara. Anytime he's on the list, instantly better. Doesn't matter what
Mhm.
he's doing, good guy, bad guy, don't care. He is. It's an instantly adds value to the production, and he's so good in this. And he's not being creepy or Halloweeny or any of that stuff. It just shows he's a solid actor, which I think sometimes, because of the Halloween persona and all those overtones and all the horror movies he's done, you lose the fact that he's actually a really good actor. People forget that stuff. It's not just like, oh yeah, he did Thriller and yeah, he did, The Fly and whatever, but he's good. I think people need to recognize that more.
Yeah, he was definitely a very pleasant surprise. Like, yeah, I was sold before the fact, but when I was watching it the first time and like I saw his name in the credits, I was like, "What?"
I did
And
the
then he
same thing.
shows up in the movie, and it's like, "Oh wow!"
Hmm.
Like this, yeah. Like I don't know how it could have went up a notch, but like it did. It like surpassed. Like this movie goes to 11.
Yeah.
Like it was like, wow. And he's only in like the first hour or so, but the character that he plays and the void that his character creates, allowing for Dathan to then come in, and he's way worse
Hmm.
than Baka ever could have been, like it's just, man, yeah, you kind of like, and then like Moses kills him. Like that's the person, that Moses,
Hmm.
that's the like, wow, yeah, like the burden that it brings on to Moses as a just a person, but then the void that it fills and the repercussions it has throughout the rest of the story, it's like, yeah. And I don't know that a lesser actor could have delivered and had that impact. You know what I mean? Like, you really needed somebody with Vincent Price's, not even his, yeah, because he's not doing the persona. He doesn't have the mustache. Like, you would
Yeah.
not know it was him unless you were told or you recognized his voice. But he's playing it so smooth, you know,
Hmm.
and so like down the line, matter of factly. It really is just a little highlight. And I love Edward G. Robinson as well. Like, the whole cast in this one is just like great. All these just little character actors sprinkled in among Heston and Baxter and Yvonne DeCarlo, Lily Munster. It's just like, wow. And so I that all comes back around to Cecil B. DeMille.
Yeah.
He's just a phenomenal director and storyteller. I don't know if you guys even noticed or knew, but he's also the narrator in the film. He's the
Mm.
one, giving you the tidbits in the beginning, the middle, and the end, and just filling in those blanks and those segues of time.
Yeah. That was good. It kept it moving. But like you just said about Vincent Price, I popped, was like, oh, saw his name in the credits, like, no way, and then didn't recognize him right away. Like, and then he spoke. I was like, oh, there he is. Like, that voice is, could pick that out of a crowd anywhere. That voice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just yeah, yeah, it was like so weird because I'm saying to myself, wow, Ten Commandments, and you got Vincent Price in here, and then Edward G. Robinson is known for more gangster type, yeah, see, kind of film. It's like,
He's
wow,
kind of a gangster in it.
yeah,
So
yeah, but like
Yeah.
not as over the top, and as some
no.
prior performances, but it's like, wow, all these character actors are in here filling in the blanks. It's really cool. And Charlton Heston, I mean, come on, what can you say about this guy?
I love how his character's journey, where he's the prince, he's the conquering hero. The first time you see him grown up and he's like coming in on the chariot victorious, conquering Ethiopia, and he does it in such a diplomatic way that he's like 100% successful. There's no like bad vibe about it whatsoever. And he does that again when he's with the sheiks, and like he's offered like, his pick of the daughters, but he like sold the entire flock to that one dude,
Mm.
at like the fairest price, imaginable. Like, it's his persona, his personality, and that's probably why he was chosen to be, the emancipator. But I love how, yeah, the whole time he's like, it's not me. I'm not going to do that. And even like, when he kills Baka and Joshua's like, it is you. And he's like, no, it's not me. I'm not. No. And then like he's called up to the mountain and he realizes like, okay, it has to be me, but I'm not God, like
Mm.
he he has that line built in from the very beginning, but he isn't able to see exactly what's beyond that line until he's called to it. And it's just a great like way to build a character and then to allow a character to develop and then flourish.
Yeah, I remember when the scene where he finds out that he's really Hebrew, and that those are his people, and with the swaddling cloth is revealed to him. And I'm saying, man, I want to see how they get there, how he becomes, you know, that full on beard and white hair. Like, I mean, I want to see the change. I want to take me on the journey. I was like, wow, and they really do. They like every step of the way. It was not disappointing at all.
But what makes it so epic is also the music, and I really love the fact that the music is really a part of the emotional moments, and the fact that you have like percussions when you have tense moments, and you have like the symphony orchestra for grandiose moments. It's really match with the moment.
Yeah, that melody, that's throughout the whole thing, it's just it's so appropriate. It's so beautiful, and I love how it can transpose to different things, and it can be softer or it can be, grander. Like it's
Hmm.
just it
Yeah.
really fits like a glove around this story. Well, I remember when I was first watching the Ten Commandments and like I heard the music and I was like, that's that's from the that's from the scene in Caddyshack when they're when Bill Murray's, caddying for the Reverend. Like that's the music. Holy shit. you know? Like it made that scene in a totally different movie even better and
Yeah.
more funny because it was playing like totally against,
Hmm.
what its intentions were. So it yeah, it heightened something else like remotely like, 25 years after the fact.
There's I don't know, I don't remember which one of the plagues it is, but one of the plagues is happening. There's a like a it's not piano tinkling, but there's like a tinkling with, I don't know the instrument, but I'm like, I hear that in Ghostbusters. Like it's like
Mhm.
he's like he brought all the supernatural in, and it's like, and that
Uh-huh.
would come to play more down the line for him, which is kind of cool. But like I was like, oh, I hear it. It's in there. It's a little tiny underscoring in there, but I hear it. And then yeah,
Mhm.
wow, it's so cool.
I love the female characters in this movie, all of them. Even from the beginning, the adoptive mother when she finds Moses in the Nile, I think it's really beautiful. She really fell in love at first sight, and the fact that she wants to protect him from I'm not sure of the name, the servant Memnet or something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I really loved it. And yeah, Sephora for me, it's one of the most touching character in the film. Every time she talks to Moses, you feel the love the way she talks to him. Even before he chose her, you feel that there is something with her, and it's really touching. And yeah, the scene when he talks to his real mother, and she's like, she doesn't want him to be part of the family because he would be a slave. Yes, a slaver. I don't know, slavery, slaver,
Mhm.
slave. He would be a slave. So yeah, I think it's really touching. It's really heartbreaking, this scene. And Anne Baxter, Nefertiti, she's really good because at the beginning you think she's a bitch and you understand that she's more than that. The way she looks at Moses and what she does for him, she kills for him, so that's not nothing,
Mhm.
and when Seti is dying, you feel that she has tenderness for her, and she has for him too. And that's not something that you expect from her at the beginning. She's kind of cold, and she's more than that. I was a bit disappointed when her son is dead. I think she doesn't really shows emotions, but actually she's probably with lots of anger
Mhm.
against Ramses, so that's the reason why. But except that this woman made an incredible acting in this film.
Yeah, because you believe she's completely in love with Moses. The all
Yeah.
those scenes.
No, and I love her line. I don't remember exactly, but when Ramses come back and he wants to kill her, and she said, "Oh, if there's no Moses blood on your weapon, you won't touch me, you won't kill me." And it's a good line, actually, not by me, but in the film, it was a good line.
Yeah, I think she says like first show me his blood on your sword.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think another great scene for me was when Ramses tells his father that, Moses is, you know, um, was it, what's the term they use? Um, not blasphemy. He's not doing what he's, I can't remember the term they use in the movie, but anyway, when he's sent there to build the town. Moses is building the town, and they come to
Yeah.
check on him, and it's like, "What are you? I called you. Why didn't you come to me?" He's like, "You also told me to build the town. I'm trying
Yeah.
to build it. Let me build the town, man." And then he shows him how awesome he's doing. He's like, "All right, enough said."
Yeah. You're the guy.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. Egg on Ramses' face at that point. Um, yeah, that was just a cool scene because Moses is so confident, but not in a disrespectful way. He's confident. He's like,
Yeah.
"Listen, you gave me a job. I'm doing the job. Look at the results." Even
Yeah.
when they're trying to lift that piece of stone. He's like, it's gonna break. It's gonna break. He's like, hold on, we got men on there.
Yeah.
And he shows him. He's like, this guy knows what he's doing. And he's like, yeah, it was just such a cool scene because it could have went sideways for him, but he pulled through. And yeah, it's just really strong characters and really well portrayed.
I know that I've been praising the film, you know, since before, like and beyond, and I will continue to do so. However, if I'm being 100% honest, which I like to try to be, Joshua, he could have used maybe a knock down a little bit. He was a little much at some points in the story. Just his, I don't know if it was the actor and his portrayal or his reading, but Joshua to me is probably the weakest link in the movie.
Oh, you mean?
No, I don't think so. No,
Because
I
I
don't
like
think
the
so because
chemistry with Lilia. I like it.
yeah, but he's like he's too swashbuckling. He's too like he's going right up to the line for me in this story. Everybody else is like on the line or like right behind the line, and he's going right up to the line. He's like the snarky kid you want to just fucking sit down and shut up for a couple of minutes.
I can see your point. I don't agree, but I don't also disagree. Yeah, I think to answer your speculation, it might be the performance. It might be.
Yeah, well, and you know what? You guys saw it once. Watch it a few times and see how much you're digging Joshua after like the 10th time.
You know what he kind of reminded me of, honestly. I'm sure you've seen March of the Wooden Soldiers with Laurel and Hardy. He kind of reminded me of Tom Tom.
Uh-huh.
Like just a little bit. So I get what you're saying. The vibe he was
Yeah,
throwing down in that movie.
but it doesn't ruin the movie for me. The way like other performances in other movies might. Like, oh yeah, I can't deal with that, or like I can't wait for this part to be over. It's like like I said, he comes right up to the line and just kind of like, if he would just take a step back, perfect,
Hmm.
So that's it. That's really the only real problem I think I have with the movie is like just a little too hard, trying too hard from Joshua. That's it.
In terms of characters, I would say that I was a bit disappointed that we don't talk more about the siblings, Moses' siblings, Miriam and Aaron,
Aaron.
I believe,
Aaron.
because they're quite important in the Bible. And
Mhm.
here, I don't know, maybe we see them in two scenes, and that's all.
Well, Aaron is kind of like his valet when he
Yeah,
when he
true.
steps to Ramses. He's like, Aaron, take my staff, throw it
Mm,
at Ramses' feet. Aaron, take
mm.
my staff, touch the water. Like,
Yeah.
Wait,
so
bring
Aaron
the
is,
bring the chariot around.
yeah, Aaron's kind of rolling with him, and then when he builds the golden calf, like at Dathan's like mob insistence, like, oh man, no, Aaron, don't do it. Like you're
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
and I feel like there's enough Aaron in there, but yeah, his sister is really kind of like, hey,
Yeah, no, yeah. Mm-mm.
later.
Also, on the video, you said that the main topic of the film is oppression and desire of freedom.
Mm,
And I thought interesting also to say that you see the contrast of two way to lead in this film. You have the pharaoh who leads with terror and force, and you
hmm.
have Moses trying to lead through faith and justice. And I think it was interesting to see that contrast between the two.
Yeah, yeah, especially when he first hears like that they're being deprived of food and he sends them to get the
Yeah.
grain, and he has that great line about like, the belly of the gods will not suffer from the digestion of the slaves or something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like, wow. And there's that Don Corleone wisdom, like that
Yeah.
that prolific insight that he has into like the nature of the world in which he's existing.
Because we talked about our favorite scenes, and actually I'm thinking that one of my favorite scene is when in Old Guy and an Hebrew, he said something, I don't remember what he says, and an Egyptian kills him, you know, in the mud pit.
Mhm.
Mhm.
He gets killed. And I think this scene is crazy because this guy, you don't really know him. It's just in this scene, but you have so much emotion. It's really heartbreaking to see this guy dying like this. And when he dies, he says, "Oh, and the only thing I wanted is to meet the Messiah. I mean, the guy who gonna save my people." And he doesn't know, but he is in front of him. So
Mhm.
I think it's something. This scene is it seems nothing when you watch it, but actually it's a very powerful scene.
I think the reason that that scene resonates is because now we've connected with Moses, and
Mm,
now he's in the pit and he's observing it, and the reactions that he's having is transferring into the audience, you know, because he's our guy, right?
yeah.
And so when he witnesses that like devastating like murder of the slave with the spear, you know, and the guy dies in his arms, like that's why it's resonating, is because we're getting it through Moses's point of view, and he's finally seeing the tyranny of the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also powerful because here's a guy who was in line to be the pharaoh and
Yeah.
have this beautiful wife and the easy life, and he just gives it all up when he finds out the truth.
For justice
Yeah, when he finds
and
out the
the
truth
truth.
about
Mm, mm,
himself, he's
mm,
like,
mm,
"Yeah, no, I can't do this, man." So he had
mm.
that in him already, but then to give up all that, that good life, the easy life, and start at the bottom again and work his way up to, being not the guy in charge, but, the conduit, for
Mhm.
God. So it says, yeah, it's like that's a powerful thing to see, because he really had everything. It was right there. All he had to do was just stay the course and, keep his head down. Everything would be fine. But he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I think that's, when you see him all like a golden god, and a tan and whatever, and then you see him in the mud, all dirty
Mhm.
and beat up. It's like, man, this guy sacrificed all that stuff, for a harder way of life. I think it hits you a little harder.
In 2014, Ridley Scott made a version of this story called Exodus: Gods and Kings, right?
Okay.
I didn't see it because I really didn't give a shit, because I got this movie and this is all I need when it comes to this story. But I saw the trailer just to be like, all right, what's up with that? And I mean, you know, it's kind of what we were saying. It's like this is so well made, so tangible, so realistic, and the performances and everything. I mean, this movie, the Ridley Scott one, okay, yeah, Ridley Scott, but it stars Christian Bale as Moses. You know, when I say that sentence, what goes through your mind?
um, I don't know. I mean,
Wow, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Let's give him a
Okay,
chance.
yeah. Joel Egerton as Ramses, Ben Kingsley, who I think is the Pharaoh before Ramses, John Turturro, you know, Sigourney Weaver's in it, like
What is she
Ewan
doing there?
Ewan Bremner, Spud from Train Spotting is in it. You know, it's who's Sigourney Weaver? I don't know the character. But the point is I watched the trailer and it had all that razzle dazzle CGI special effects with the plagues and everything, and it's just like it's 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 too fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it looks cool, but it doesn't really look real. And even though in this movie they're on sets, on sound stages, it still feels more real
Yeah.
than what's going on in like a contemporary one. And it's just it's kind of crazy, a little hard to explain. It's even harder to understand unless you experience it, you know? And I mean, this movie, top 10 highest grossing movie of all time.
Mhm.
You guys probably didn't even know about the Exodus Gods and Kings until I mentioned it just now.
Yep.
I heard the title somewhere, but no, I didn't know it was like the Ten Commandments and everything. Though, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that really says something about the the power and the significance of this particular film. And then the fact that like both of you could like come to it fresh for the first time at whatever point you're at in your life and in your cinematic life and study, and just walk away with like the experience that you had with it and how it's going to, carry forward with you. I think that's really really cool. It's really like powerful.
I think the fact that the movie is 70 years old, uh,
Mhm.
uh, so it has a dated look as it is. It probably helps it. If anything, it's selling it that this is a long time ago. As compared to, like you said, you saw that trailer. There's a razzle dazzle and green screens, I'm sure, and whatnot. Yeah, it's just it feels like it's an older thing. So I think that helps.
That'll about do it for us here today at the Visually Hidden Selects podcast. We will be discussing a completely different film next time, so make sure you head over to our YouTube channel and subscribe so you don't miss any future selections. You can catch Steve and Bendler over at Steve's Pop Culture Corner on Instagram, and I, of course, are also on Instagram as well as Letterboxd, so you can follow us over there and find out what we've been watching and see what we think. And until next time, so let it be written, so let it be done.